Alright, it's time to look at Guitar 150 again. So, the last one of these videos I did was over a year ago, and it was the 6 UnFCed 150 songs. Well, how the hell is it now the 7 UnFCed 150 songs? Rock Band 4, that's the only reason. So, we got 3 Rock Band 4 songs in here, and 4 non-Rock Band 4 songs in here. So, I will do something similar, where I'll go through them from probably easiest to probably hardest, though this always is going to change all the time, and context has moved one of the songs a lot higher up than it used to be. And I'm out of preamble. I don't think there's anything else to say. All of these are on Rock Band. They were last time. And the first one is Angel of Death. This is by far the easiest song left. It's not easy, obviously, otherwise it would have been done a year ago, or whenever Rock Band 4 was weeded. But it's by far the easiest, and I mean by far. Like, the rest of the songs are so much more difficult than this. Unfortunately, it's just never really been attempted, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's for a couple of reasons. So, first one is the stamina required. I will do what I did last time. I'll play... In fact, let's just play just how much you need to do here. I'm going to be terrible because I haven't warmed up whatsoever. These verses are pretty easy though. It's just, the reset strumming doesn't really matter, as you can like sort of hear, but it's the choruses that are the issue. More stamina draining. Not so obvious where the accents are. That's going to be the worst stamina drainer. You've got to do that every time you want to try this song, because obviously that's not it. And that's a bit of a problem because the chorus sections are pretty difficult to really understand. I don't think there's a clear way you could rake it either. I don't know if there's a certain rake orientation where all of these sort of green streaks would just disappear. Because what are we looking at here? Da 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 da. Which is 2 at 4 at 5, which is 11. So what you're gonna do? How do you strum 11? 3 2 3 3 2 3 2 3 2. Would that work? Nope. I don't really know. You could what 3 4 3? No, 4 3 4. If you got a 4 3 4. If you got a 4 3 guitar, you can do this pretty easily, I guess. Maybe there's another calibration, but you know. But even then, it's not even that, because this one leads into it. There's more of it. So I just don't think there's really a way you could rake this too consistently. Unless you're a real dab hand with a 2-2 and you could end with a thumb every time, which I don't doubt people can do. But anyway, it's strumming. It's not as bad as songs like, what was it, like Baptize and Underneath the Cenotaph, or maybe, I don't know. I don't think it is. I mean, I can seem to half get through it without dying. But of course, do not... Well, how could you forget? The main draw with this song is the solo. Which is not the most difficult Angel of Death chart, but I mean, it's an Angel of Death chart at 150, you know? Nothing so bad until we get to this here, and then it just kind of goes real balls to the wall. Forced strums, unforced strums, messy patterns. It's not very easy to one hand, it's not very easy to tell what the hell is going on. This is difficult. This is a really hard solo. I'm not warmed up, so I think I could probably do better than I did there, but like this in particular, you know, those triplets immediately after the strums. Luckily you do have quite a long buffer from the strumming to that solo, it's not like you're straight in there, head first. But anyway, then you get a break, and then you're back to it. Don't donk it. Okay, so there's your last 200 notes that you really don't want to throw away after that solo. Like I say, I don't think it's really been attempted. It's quite short. It's only about 3 minutes, considering, I mean, other songs on the list, which is, I mean, 4 of them are Dragon Force. It's clearly not as hard as some of the other songs that have been FC'd at 150, right? Even if the solo was really bad, even if the stamina is pretty difficult, both examples of that have been done worse, like the way it ends, and, I don't know, some other messy song, like there's thousands of them. I would be happy to see this one go, but at the same time, it's like, it's not, it's gonna go, like the rest of the songs are more important than this. This is just one that is still hanging about, for whatever reason. Okay, I think that's it for Angel of Death. Next up, OGAP RB4. Now, why is this quite so low? Well, RB3 is done, like Alec did Rock Band 3, and this chart is like easier, I guess. So it's clearly this one can be done by the same man, right? So I don't really even need to show the sections. There isn't that much of a difference. In fact, the only real difference is the post-solo strumming. Otherwise, it's just easier because you've got less of a lead-in. I will still show them money, although it's kind of redundant. The first thing you've got is solo 1, kind of an early gatekeeper with this trill. However you want to hit that. Then it's just classic Dragon Force strumming. You've got 20 MPS strumming all the way through, which you would need a rake for. And then you've got solo 3, which is now solo 3, not solo 4. I guess that's another difference between Rock Band 3 and 4 with this song. And you will see that the bridge C lead-in is easier. Because it just goes to a sustain there. I won't thank myself if I don't hit this. It's a pretty negligible difference. And then you got, you know, that is the issue with this song pretty much. How the hell do you do that? Well, it's been figured out, I guess. I'm actually not sure what method Alec did to hit these. I don't know if it was the kind of skip tap thing or not. This is absolutely abominable. But yeah, the trills are pretty much the only thing that's too bad in that. You've got a difficult 3D section as well, but it's just pretty standard tapping with not really any random strums. Like I say, it's been figured out, so there's nothing new. The only thing that is different is this section. And by the way, if this section was not forced the same, if this section was forced the same as Rock Band 3, then I would have just discounted this, because there's not really enough of a difference for it to matter. But this is quite clearly just a different way of doing it, you know? Otherwise this would just be a clearly easier version of Rock Band 3, and what the hell would the point be? Maybe you could make that argument anyway. But it is what it is. Yeah, all strums now, where it wasn't before. Donk sections, solo 4. nowhere near as bad. And then you've got the outro. Of course, I kind of just gloss over the strumming because there's so much of it, but yeah, you just need to be good at 2/2 strumming. And my favourite pattern ever that just comes out of nowhere. And the obviously easy to miss trill at the very end too. So that's all gap RB4. I would have put this higher, but Rock Band 3 is done, so this one should be able to get done. I think these bottom two will be the next to go. Fingers crossed, anyway. Next up, Slight Amplification. Still the only non-DLC song, well, it literally was DLC, but Rock Band Network song that is undone. 150, there has been substantial progress by Alf on this song, who has, you know, missed after the biggest money in the song, which is that ridiculous All Strums bit, and seems to be one of these people that can just do the main riff, so that's good. I will show you it all anyway. This is what you gotta deal with to get to the solo every time. So remember Angel of Death? That was kind of tricky to, well, I say kind of tricky, pretty stamina draining to get up to the solo any given time. Well, this is what you gotta deal with here to even attempt the solo. I will play the whole thing. So you got 6 of those in a row to start. Already pretty incredible to get this far, I would say, for the average layman. And you know, this is the break section. Still not the easiest thing in the world, but you would never miss this. And back to it. And that's it. There are 10 of those you gotta hit. 10, almost, well, you got a set of 6 and a set of 4, right? I would probably say you have to be 99% consistent, really, to be able to do this song. And apparently that's a thing that's possible, which is kind of remarkable. But obviously, we gotta look. I'm just gonna play the entire second half to show you everything that kind of gets anywhere. But realistically, its solo 1 is the ultimate gatekeeper with 65 padlocks, none of which have an obvious chord. So here it is. Can I get my redemption on this thing here? Probably not. I think this is just, I really don't get these triplets. Anyway, less of that. I'll come back to that. But let's take a look at solo 2 as well. It really does suck that that is there, that even exists. Because it isn't something that you can cheese that easily, thanks to there not being a hammer-on at the end. That would make all the difference. Then you got your pressure riff. I can't imagine playing that on a FC run. All this. just because there's like, I would say there was quite a bit of reset strumming required in that riff if you want to do it comfortably, which I think we all know is just not that easy to do when you're a bit shaky, you know. Much easier to do an accidental rake or always strum or whatever the hell. One last chorus and one last baby riff to end. Really, anything past solo 1 is going to be a major donk. Let's have a look at it. This thing, I don't know. I got no advice. I'm just terrible at it, apparently. But it is a Spock zig at the end. This is dead easy. Up until the big money. And we got the classic. So, I don't know how clear I made it last time, just that this is genuinely just a Spock section, but it's worse because you've got yellow to begin with, so you can't even necessarily be in Spock position to start and then do it that way. You gotta deal with this yellow note. So what do? Well, you could do something like this, where you slide that and then you're in a Spock position. You know, you could slide down to green. That seems like a very difficult thing to do. What else could you do? Slide the pinky. I don't think anybody's doing that. Yeah, I can't even. You wouldn't do that, right? But you got to figure it out in any case, and then it's just a mess, you know. Very fast. How fast is the strumming at its peak? 8 notes per second. What have I done? Set B position. So it's about 22 notes per second, really. I could make this even tighter. 22.5 for this little segment here. That is absurdly fast. It is just a burst, but man, even bursting 22 while you're doing all this other gunk is pretty ridiculous, right? And no, I'm not gonna hit this time. You know, it's just... I still got the last bit at least. So this, I don't know, it's just so mad. I don't know if the meta is to genuinely know what notes you're hitting, or if it's just to be like, go all gung-ho and just strum really fast and hope that your fingers do the right thing. Getting past that has happened, I think, once ever, which is already like mental. But then, you know, this is, regardless of how much you practice this and how consistent you are, how you're going to feel about doing this. You got my method. It relies on strumming like counterintuitively early, which is not so easy to do. Your mind will just be like, nope, we got to play it safe, but that is unsafe. You know what I mean? So, what the hell is it? Yeah. So yeah, it's just a whole cluster of notes in such a short amount of time, but it should hit most of the time if you just play it enough. You gotta just do it all really early, so early. The strums throw you off, but just strum so early. Yeah, solo 2. I don't know what else figured out for this. I never bothered. Even getting into it is pretty stupid, to be honest. Don't take the mic. Like, even double strumming them all, it doesn't seem to be that consistent, you know? I'm not missing the first note. Don't take the mic. Just that last yellow strum. If that yellow strum didn't exist, this would be pretty automatic, wouldn't it? Damn, I just gotta quit, I think. There you go. Pretty much once you've got past that yellow to green strum, it's entirely Don't Donk territory. So pressure's on. I mean, I still think getting past solo 1 is got to be like a 1 in 1,000 chance for this song, even if you are that consistent at the beginning. I don't know if there's any way to really get consistent at the all strums bit. That's the crux. If there was a way to get really good, or if somebody just did, like Alf got really insanely good at that, where you're hitting it 9 times out of 10, yeah, this song would get done. And it probably will still get done, but it's still monumental. I don't think I can. I really underrated this back in the day. I had Nyland above this, and there's no chance. Like, this is just, the odds are so against you, just for anybody pretty much, to try and do this. But we're at that point where this is not, you know, is the 5th hardest. And I don't think there's much of an argument there. So let's look at the next one. Excuse me. Pulse of the Maggots. It stuns me that this hasn't been done, to be honest, because it's just so notorious. Pulse 150, and it's just, yeah, it's horrendous, but how the hell has this not been done? You know what I mean? It's pretty short. The notoriety is off the charts, and it's so approachable in the sense that all you got to do is just random strum through it, right? And that is another big understatement, but I don't know. For me, I would have thought this would have been done by now, to be honest. So we'll have a look anyway. As usual, we'll have the lead in. So it's the beginning. This part here, the section guitar solo, has always been the worst, I think, on any engine. This, because there are just breaks all over the place. The note order is pretty shocking at the beginning as well. I think that's the worst. I think really it's not like anything past this is a choke, but that is the worst part of the entire song, right? And it is the very beginning of the solo. I don't know that you can really... You could know what the note order is, right? But as far as the strums go, you're gonna strum through it, I would have thought. I don't think it's that viable to be like so precise with which like notes you select to strum. Which is kind of the issue, because it's not like each strum is surrounded with hopos, which normally makes the section free, like Mayhem and stuff like that. But this, you don't have that luxury. Solo B, that's more of what we're talking about. You can pretty much just rake through that, although the note order is not trivial either. Solo A, should I say. Then this stuff here, I mean, the actual solo B is not too bad. Solo C, maybe a bit of a sleeper, in the sense that the two main sections that anyone would think of for Pulse of the Maggots guitar solo is the first two, but B is missable, and C, the ending is like an orange wall, a really ugly orange wall with more random strums at the very end. Yep, I do find that very last bit kind of just hits itself though. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me. I don't know if I'd be right in saying that if it was just this solo, the song would be done. I don't know if that's really the case, but I'm pretty sure Pulse of the Maggots solo 150 has been hit like years ago. It's not really a recent thing. Outro solo, I'm not sure. But these solos have been hit a number of times at 150 now. And I'm aware that it's a much taller order to string everything together while you've got like nothing in between. And these kind of missable strumming sections as well that just only add to the pressure. But it's not unprecedented for these solos to be hit, which is kind of the case for a lot of these other songs, you know. A slight amplification solo, I mean, That's barely been done ever, right, until recently. I don't know what this tangent is about. Let me show you the the outro solo. This one you've got a better chance just strumming all the way through, but it's at the end, right? It's at the end. So what are you gonna do? Any sort of semblance of being calm playing this needs to be thrown out of the window. Those added nerves can make you faster, I guess, but you know, it's a complete crapshoot. Definitely, this ending section. I think maybe you could get consistent at raking through it, but there's nobody out there. I really hope there's nobody out there being, oh, well, there's a double strum there, so I've got to strum 3 times, but I only need to strum once there, and that sweeps pretty fast, so I need to speed up there. You're not going to do any of that. You're just going to be like, right, yes, right. That's all you can do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we're really at that point where that sort of section is being figured out note by note, right? Pulse of the Maggots is over in 2.5 minutes, so yes, it's the shortest song. I'm going to say that I think this song should be done fairly soon, to be honest, because I've seen people get close. You know, what Randy had a -2 or something. Darkly UnFCed both the solos quite soon after I did Child in Time. So where's the FC? Okay, top 3, all Dragon Force, Through the Fire and Flames, Rock Band 4 version. I would put below 3 for one major reason, which is solo C. I mean, although solo C is difficult for a different reason here, I just don't think it's as bad as the crap that you got on Rock Band 3. Maybe I'm wrong. As with Dragon Force, there's 20 notes per second strumming through, so I'll just show the same sections I've been showing since I started going through this song. Pre-chorus 2B, which is a mega transition. I actually have a 2-2, so maybe I could foreseeably do this transition. Let's see. Come on. Well, I got the transition, but not the rest. This section isn't that bad. If you've got a 2-2, I wouldn't have thought, but you know, you still got to hit it every time. It's not like pre-chorus 2B is the be-all and end-all of Through the Fire and Flames. This is just one of many sections you got to do over and over and over again. So let's just do interlude through to the end of the solo, because there's a lot of weird stuff. Some of it is changed from the Rock Band 3 chart, which I think is weirder. But like, why is that all strums, you know? There's a double hammer-on that's been removed. How different is Interlude B? I would have thought this section had changed, but I guess not. I believe that's different as well. This is a real mess at the beginning of the solo. And here's the money. So, probably not alt-tapped, probably slid. So you got to be a good slider who can also like FC the rest of Through the Fire and Flames at 150, you know? That's kind of rare. Some pretty horrible transitions. And then the classic, which isn't too bad to be fair. What do I have to say about that? Well, I don't know. Oh yeah, I thought of something. It was like both Guitar Hero. Well, I say both. The two 5-fret Guitar Hero charts have been FC'd at 150 for a long time. In fact, Flames 3 has been done at 200. I mean, is anybody surprised? But like, you know, those charts have been. I mean, Smash Hits was done at 150. That was the last song to be done at 150, I think, in GH main series. But that was done pretty unceremoniously by Borealis. Are these charts that much worse? Like, yeah, they are harder, but are they that much harder that they're still both UnFC'd at 150? Less notoriety, yes. But, I mean, people know about this sheet, don't they? You know, we know how close we are. I thought they did. I would have hoped that Through the Fire and Flames, the most notable song in rhythm game history, as far as I'm concerned, or at least plastic guitar history, like, there needs to be a bit of traction on these, and for whatever reason there just isn't. Maybe because they're so unappealing, but it's Through the Fire and Flames, you know. We gotta get rid of them. It's all Dragon Force is the bane of our existence on these sheets. I know that, but it's Through the Fire and Flames, man. Surely you want to be the one. I did it. I did Through the Fire and Flames faster than anybody else. This specific charts. There you go. There's 2,000 views. You know what I mean? Or maybe like 20. But there's something about these charts that's just, for whatever reason, it was inevitable that the Guitar Hero ones would get done. But these just, no one gives a damn. You know what I mean? Anyway, tangent aside, let's have a look at what you gotta not throw away, because it's not that bad after the solo. With the 2-2, I mean, I honestly never really played any Dragon Force songs with a 2-2, so let's see. Oh, I say a 2-2, it's not perfect. One of the easiest So Far Away charts. So Far Away 3. That should not be missable, to be honest. But then you've got this. That's pretty quick alt tapping. The pattern is definitely easier than Flames 3, but that's not slow. You will be warmed up though, so, and nervous, so probably quite doable. But let's not forget, I would say it's only kind of chokeable. A lot less chokeable than Rock Band 3, which is another reason why it's probably a bit easier. So the comparison to the RB3 version, where is it? Like, this is what I mean. I just threw it through the Fire and Flames, through the Fire and Flames, through the Fire and Flames, through the Fire and Flames. Sod off! Why do I need 15 different versions? Like, one of them's mine, you know what I mean? Rock Band 3 version, there are, I believe, 2 Bs the same, not really anything to see here, so I'll just show you the bits that are different. Which might be easiest if I just do the interlude to the end. There's that double hobo. I guess that's exactly the same. That's such a terrible chart that I would have assumed it was different. So yeah, slightly different trips. This is pretty much the same though. Maybe some of the notes are a little different, but negligibly so. But here's the main difference. That's it. It's hittable, right? It's not looking impossible like it used to 5 years ago, but that is nasty, you know. What there is pretty much. I think the rest of the song is pretty much the same. But the ending, I don't know if it's just the U rock section that's actually different. We'll see. So far, our way through is not anywhere near difficult enough, even if it is different. Same deal. Pretty sure it's unchanged. I think that's identical. Well, this is brutal. It's pretty easy once you're in there to do that pattern, but to get into it, what are you gonna do? That's like a hell of a transition. Like, can I do this? Come on. I feel it. I feel it. Is that gonna be like a mad elbow teleport? Probably. Or maybe I could do the painted like quad elbow strum. Even then, you know, you gotta be gentle. That was close. I apologize for this, but I just want to do it. No way! I guess, well, we all knew that would be a problem. Even if your arm is there, skip tapping is not automatic. Damn you. Right, this is where the money is. There you go. So just do that at the end of your run, you'll be fine. I imagine whoever would go for this song would be okay with that. I mean, if you were pretty terrible at that section and decided to go for it the entire song, I would question who you are as a person and whether I should even know your name. So that's the two through the fire and flames. They still ain't done. Maybe one of them could get done. I don't know. They should be in the top 3, I think. You've got stuff like, I don't know if any section in that is like as hard as ASS solo, for instance. Maybe. Or Pulse of the Maggots, which probably has the worst sections, full stop. Other than maybe Highway to Oblivion, but there's so much of it. And even the rest of the solo, you know, the solo A. Like, this is still mental. So awkward, you know what I mean? And that's not even considered really one of the money sections. This is big. Last up, our favourite addition from Rock Band 4 is Highway to Oblivion. First thing, I'll pretty much show the same things I did last time. This is just kind of a funny thing to introduce you to it. Right, but that's not really why it's big money. Is it pre-chorus? No. Guitar Solo 2. This is where we begin this stupid stuff. So you got that Scream and Fire kind of pattern. That one's not too bad because you've got a big break for it, but complete mess. You know? What is this? Do you remember Heroes of Our Time, where they have that? I don't know, I always found it was charted really strangely, where it's just these random red, yellow, blue kind of zigs and trips and blah blah blah. It's like they took inspiration from that with every single section on this song, except made it worse, you know? Like, look at this pattern. Who comes up with this stuff, you know what I mean? But luckily we can just, you know, destroy it with inputs. Pre-chorus to B, again. This one isn't as bad. Still pretty quick. And then we've got our main issues, which is Bridge 1 to Solo 4. which you just got to be a mad one-hander or teleport for. I don't know which is more appealing. Realistically, that is not a major issue, right? It's fast, but it is just like clearly just moving. So I wouldn't really expect anybody to not be able to do this because of solo 4A. That's more of like a rock band reason why this is so difficult. But then solo 5, this is the real true money, if not the bridge. As fast as Sam's solo, maybe for even longer. Surprised I even got close to that transition, but yeah, that bit at the end is pretty stupid as well. Maybe this isn't actually that bad with the 2-2. I mean, when I say not that bad, I mean like actually possible. I take it back, that's actually kind of doable, but still clearly pretty mental. So what is hard about Highway to Oblivion? Well, you've got your usual Dragon Force 2-2 strumming, there's nothing changed there. You've got really bad transitions, impossible to read sections, and that's pretty much it. And then you've got generic shredding in between. Maybe this isn't as bad as Through the Fire and Flames. I don't know. You tell me that. Clearly the mooting is a hell of a lot worse and faster. But you've still got another one of those trills. You gotta be able to do that, and you gotta be able to do transitions, and we gotta be able to do the bridge. So I don't know. It's a bit shorter than some of the other Dragon Force songs, right? It's 4.5 minutes as opposed to what, 5? I guess it's not that different. Maybe it's not the hardest, but in any case, it's not really one that people are trying to get at. That is it. Those are the 7 songs remaining at 150% speed on guitar. Where will we be in a year's time? Well, last year, or however long ago it was, we were at 6. Now we're at 7. What, are we going to be at 8? No. I mean, unless we add Power Gig, Rock Revolution, etc. But that'll be its own thing, and if it ever happens. I really think, well, Angel of Death, I don't know if anyone's going to go for that, but that should get done. Orgap Abbey 4, clearly. Slight Amplification is right on the cusp. Pulse of the Maggots should be done, and then we're just left with these 3 Dragon Force songs. 2 times Through the Fire and Flames and 1 Highway Oblivion. If that's it, maybe there'll be some more incentive, but because there's like 7 songs of all these different random skill sets, I think it just turns people off a bit. It's like, well, why would I go for Through the Fire and Flames, you know? It's not like that's going to be the last one. Now that's how I would think anyway. But it remains to be seen. We seem to be getting about 1 or 2 FCs a year. Some of these songs should be... What the hell are you piping up for? Some of these songs should be done by the end of 2026. Hopefully more than we think. We want the Renaissance. This has been going on. Can we finish it before 2027? That would be, what, about a year? Sorry, not a year, 10 years since the sheet began. I doubt it. But the fact that we're this close is pretty good. The devil's work is never done though. So, let's see. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.